Hello dear friend, and welcome to this brand new video, which is part of the series about the sign positions of the moon. This one is specifically about the moon in Leo. We are going to talk about the most important characteristics, the strength, and also the possible challenges if you or someone you know has their moon in Leo. If you are not sure whether your moon is in Leo or what kind of moon do you have, you can use my free birth chart calculator. The link is below the video. So the first thing we need to mention about the moon in Leo is that the ruler of this moon is the sun. And this is kind of a strange combination. So the sun and the moon are kind of the two polarities. The sun brings the light, we see it during the day. The moon doesn't have its own light. It uses the light of the sun and we see it during the night. So it's kind of like the sun and the moon are never meeting each other. But here the moon is playing a little bit the role of the sun when the moon is in Leo. So let's imagine what is the sun doing for us. This is the only star of our solar system. This is kind of the main, most important object in the solar system. And we all see the sun during the day. When you look outside, somewhere you will be able to see the sun. Even if there are too much clouds or there is a storm, eventually you will see the sun at some point. And the sun is also giving us light. It's giving light without anything in return. And when the moon is in Leo, it may act a little bit like that. It requires the attention, so everyone notices the sun. So when the moon is in Leo, they also expect that other people should notice them. But they may also be very giving, very open, very generous. The sun is generous. It doesn't require anything in return. It's just giving us light. And the moon in Leo may also be so generous, so open, and ready to share joy, to share their optimism with other people. This is very typical for them. They are quite optimistic. They can be really enthusiastic. They're capable of being really passionate about something, about a concrete desire they may have, or in love, or about their kids, or about creativity. Usually they have something that they are really passionate about and it lights them up, and usually it's also noticeable for others. And in most cases, unless there are some other strong indications suppressing the moon or something like that, usually the moon in Leo wants attention. They want to feel admired, respected, appreciated. They want other people to really look them with admiration and love. And if they don't get this, it might get really frustrating. So for example, kids with the moon in Leo, they may do really strange things or whatever it takes to attract your attention. And of course, grown-ups usually don't behave like kids, even though sometimes they may do. But on average, grown-ups do it in another way, but they still need this attention. They still need to be recognized. They want to do something remarkable. They want to enjoy it. And they are also ready to share this passion with other people as well. There is another variation here, which I hope is a more rare case, but we also need to mention it. Sometimes when there is too much Leo energy, or basically it's kind of like the dark side of the Leo energy, is that it might get really narcissistic. So in some cases, this may also be part of their behavior. They might be so self-focused, they may think that they are really the only important person in the world and no one else matters. And that's again an exaggeration, an extreme case, but we know that unfortunately there are narcissistic people. And this might be one possible indication. Of course, you need other confirmations, but keep that in mind, that sometimes they might be too self-involved and they may not pay so much attention to other people and their closest environment. And speaking of narcissism, we also need to talk about the mother. How is the mother looking in the eyes of those people? And the negative side is that the mother might be narcissistic or too self-involved or only interested in her own projects or whatever she is doing. So sometimes children with the moon in Leo might be neglected by their mothers. It's a specific case, it's not the rule, but in some cases the mother might be narcissistic. And the other variation is actually quite positive. It's the case when the child totally adores and admires their mother. And this is of course great because the mother may serve like, someone they want to look like, someone they really admire, someone who is like, the sun in their life. So it might be a really positive picture that they have about the mother. But again, as we said, we have some possible variations here. Some other things that are quite typical also for the Leo moon is that sometimes they may dramatize. It's because everything they're going through seems so important. It's partly because they also want the attention, but sometimes they may act a little bit too dramatic. So even in kids with the moon in Leo, if you observe them, especially when they get around 2, 3, 4 years old, some of them really, cry until you notice them and actually until you give them what they want. So those people might get more dramatic than necessary in some cases. And the other possible variation here is that they may also be a little bit too controlling. They know what they want and they may insist to get it. And if you don't give it to them, well, good luck. They may get a little despotic or too controlling when they really want something. We have to remember that Leo is a fixed sign, and the fixed signs also tend to be more stubborn. So if they get really fixated on certain idea, desire, certain passion, they may really dramatize, insist, do the best they can until they get this. And of course, this might be something really constructive because we have motivation, we have passion, we have consistency. You can use it in an amazing way to have a goal, to be really inspired and pursue that. But you may use it also in a childish way, to be a little bit stubborn. And you know how children are doing this with, you cannot see me, but with the feet on the ground. Sometimes, people with the moon in Leo may get a little bit stubborn like that. Okay, some other things which we also need to mention are that people with the moon Leo, they really know how to have fun. Usually they like parties, they like the attention, they like also luxury stuff, they like prestigious stuff, they like to go to a nice place or, for example, the most modern club or whatever their interest might be. But usually they love to have fun, to just enjoy life, to just share this joy with other people. So some of them may also become great performers if we have other indications supporting that. The moon in Leo can be quite positive for people who are on stage, who need to be attractive for other people, who need to be magnetic, who also, act a little bit like kings and queens. This is so typical for the Leo moon. And usually other people tend to like them, to admire them, to really see this confidence and, self-belief. So people with the Leo moon might be very good with those projects. Okay, other things that we need to mention are about their openness and also the need to feel important. If you have a close person, your partner, your child, someone else with the moon in Leo, one of the best ways to show them how much you appreciate them is by saying how important they are, or doing anything else that will show that they are really important. They feel this need to be appreciated, to feel like sometimes maybe they're even more than other people. Usually they like to feel like this. So overall, the moon in Leo is quite positive, quite optimistic, might be very generous, but also might be too self-focused. As we said, we have the variations here, but overall they might be quite creative and they are capable of enjoying life. So they may be really fun to be around, and they might be kind of uplifting the overall atmosphere around them. So if you have your moon in Leo, but you don't recognize yourself in any of those descriptions, it means that maybe you need to work more on yourself, because it's possible you might have suppressed something in you. And this is always a blockage, which means that part of you is unexpressed, unrecognized, and this might create lots of discomfort. So if you don't recognize those qualities, I highly recommend you to find ways to work on this, find a consultant or a therapist or someone else who will find you to basically unblock yourself. Okay, my friend, this was the video, the most important information about the Leo moon. Don't forget, if you want to learn astrology with us on a really high advanced level, Mars Stars Astrology Academy is open for the wait list. Basically, it's not open for enrollment right now, but you definitely need to sign up if you want to join us, because the doors will open only once a year. Check the links below. If you have any questions, please let me know, and also share your thoughts. What's your experience with the moon in Leo? Do you have some other observations or something else you want us to know? Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon.